We're finally back. Round one of the AFL season, the true start to the 2025 AFL calendar. I'm Peps with Lace Out's tips for a massive round of AFL footy. And it all kicks off tomorrow night with the massive blockbuster at the MCG. And you know who we're talking about. Richmond, Carlton, Thursday, March 13th, 7:30 p.m. Now, it will be the biggest game in terms of crowd for the year, but I don't think it's going to be the biggest one for excitement for 2025. And let's be honest, it'll be turning into a bit of a witch's hats game. It'll be almost a glorified practice session, training session for the Carlton Football Club. Even with the number of debutants coming in, Lucas Camporeale is coming in, as also Nick Haynes for the wonderful Carlton Football Club. And if you have a look from the Richmond side's perspective, they've got a few coming in as well. Trainer's going to be playing his first game, which is massive. Considering he's come back from a broken jaw, we're really excited to see what he is going to deliver. But I will also say this, Carlton, you need to get off to win. Could you imagine if Carlton lose this one? Screw the pooch completely. The Jungle Drums will already be beaten for Voss. But I will say they'll win this one 10 goals easily. A nightmare start for Mr. Adam Uze, and it's going to be a massively long season for the Tigers, and Carlton just need to get off to a winner. Rightio, this is going to be an absolute belter of a game, and you know the one I'm talking about. Friday, March 14, 7:30 p.m. It is Hawthorn. It is Essendon. These two teams love to beat the living suitcases out of each other, and we love to watch it every single week. The Hawks were beautiful against the Swans last week. Did have a little bit of a hiccup in that third quarter, but really dominated the game from pretty much start to finish. And there's been so much promise about Essendon. Kako will be playing his first game for the Essendon Bombers, and the supporters will be loving what he brings to the forward line. They needed someone to kick goals after they booted Stringer. They're pretty much second highest goal kicker last year. But I can't see them getting across the line here. I think Hawthorn will be way too strong. Day shone last week. He was sensational. Sicily was magnificent. The forward line was intact. The back line was absolutely strong, and they're just going to be way too strong on the big field. This is going to be pretty much, I reckon, tight for about a quarter and a half, and then it'll start to blow out. And I can see this one turning into a 6 or 7 goal win to the Hawthorn Football Club. And start Brad Scott's misery for potentially another 2025 season where they don't make finals. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. Rightio. Same day, same round, Saturday, March 15th, 1:20 p.m. The Geelong Cats are hosting the Fremantle Dockers at home. These two teams love to have a great contest against each other. And if you remember, quite a number of years ago, Fremantle even won a final down there at GMHBA Stadium. I think this is going to be really tight. Fremantle really tight defensively, need to open up the latches a little bit and just try and get a little bit more of that scoring. And we know how tight Geelong are to beat down there at GMHBA Stadium. And that's the reason why I'm going with them. Even with Shai Bolton coming into that team, I just think Geelong, Bailey Smith will be playing. We'll also be looking at the fact that that is the narrow confines of that ground, and there's a very unique stadium to play football. Geelong play it so well. Teams struggle to win down there. I can think Fremantle will be able to afford losing this particular game and Geelong to get the win. I would probably say by 3 or 4 goals at the most, but don't be surprised. This one's going to be a tight one for most of the game. Rightio, if you're thinking those 3 games have been pretty good so far, strap yourself in for this one. Saturday, 15th of March at 4:15 p.m. The Sydney Swans versus the Brisbane Lions, the rematch from the 2024 Grand Final at the SCG. Sydney, really disappointing last week. They've missed Goulden, they've missed Mills, they've missed that run through the midfield that they were so good at last year. And Brisbane are just clamouring to start off the season with an absolute belter of a win at an away ground and continue the demolition of the Swans. And to be honest, I think that they will do this one. I reckon it'll be a nice, tight affair. I think Cox will be best after his first game, knows when to make moves. He was actually pretty good in the second half against Hawthorn last week, been clamping down on Hill. But they need to do something about their forward line. They've got plenty of small forwards, Brisbane. I think Neil, Zorko, McLaggage, the Ashcroft boys will be dominating throughout this one, and they're just going to be too strong through the middle, and they'll win this one by probably 3 goals and just start their 2025 season off with a nice start. And Sydney, 2 losses to start the year, not the best team to be starting which a lot of people thought would be finishing top 4. I've actually finished in the finish 6th this year. Rightio. Hey, here we go. The two Magpies, if you want to go back to the old school days, are kicking off on Saturday, March 15th at 7:35 p.m. Only can watch this game on Foxtel or KO because it is Super Saturday, unless you have got no pay TV and you're going to be in a bit of trouble. But Collingwood versus Port Adelaide, it will be at the MCG. What do you take out of Collingwood's performance last week? I thought it was actually quite poor, losing by 50 points against a rampaging GWS. This is a Port Adelaide team that I think are on par to probably make finals, but not dominate finals. But if I have to put the two teams up against each other, I didn't really like what I saw from Collingwood last week. They're going to have a massive shift in the way that they perform, their attitude, etc. I know they're going to be bringing Houston across, but I also think Port Adelaide will be clamouring at the bit. Lukosius will be over there for them, so they'll add some more run to that midfield and also up forward as well too. I think that they are going to be primed, and I can see an upset happening here. An upset from the fact that Port Adelaide beating Collingwood on their home deck. And Collingwood going 0-2 at the start of a season is not what a lot of people predicted. But I'm picking Port Adelaide to win this one by no more than 7 points. Rightio, last game for the weekend, Saturday, 7:35 p.m. at Marvel Stadium, the Western Bulldogs versus the not the Melbourne Kangaroos. And I'm telling you now, here is an upset for the ages. North Melbourne will win this one. There are too many injuries across the board for the Western Bulldogs, whether it's the Bont, Ed Richards in the middle, whether it's down full with no Jamari Ugle-Hagan, whether it's no Liam Jones down back. There's just holes everywhere. And I think North Melbourne, with another year under Clarkson, they'll solidify the way that they play. They've got Caleb Daniel in, they've got Luke Parker in, they've got Jack Darling in, will just shape up and provide some structure around the field as well too. And I reckon North on their home deck will be penciling this one as a win. And I actually pick North Melbourne to win this one by 3 goals and put themselves in a place where they can actually believe that they can win against teams at a very similar level. The Western Bulldogs, they just need to get through this next 6 weeks with their injury toll. If they can be 3-3 at the end of it, anything can happen. But I think that their season could be in a little bit of trouble if their ledger is 2-4, 1-5 at that particular time. But I'm going with North Melbourne to win this one, but I reckon it's going to be an absolute corker on that fast deck. Rightio, Sunday, March 16th, 12:05, we've got the Adelaide Crows versus the St Kilda Saints at Adelaide Oval. Adelaide will win this one, hands down. I just think that they've got too much on the line. This is the year that Adelaide need to do something. They've got a really formidable forward line. Their back line's been shaping up nicely. I like what St Kilda are doing, but I just think that they've just got a few holes at the moment that they need to plug. Mitch Owens going out last week due to an injury in a practice match makes it a little bit difficult. And I just think that on the home deck, Adelaide will want to be getting off to a good start, and I reckon this one will be about a 4 or 5 goal win to the Adelaide Crows. And don't be surprised if Fogarty kicks at least 3 to 4 to set his season up beautifully as well too. Okay, this one is going to be an absolute barnstormer. Sunday, March 16th, 3:20 p.m. at the home of football, the MCG. It's my boys, the Melbourne Demons versus GWS. How good were GWS last week? Dominated the Collingwood Magpies. Finn Callaghan, dead set superstar. Toby Bedford, what a tagging job. And Sam Taylor, absolutely sensational down back. Against the Melbourne team who's got a fully fit Oliver, a fully fit Petrarca. Jacob Van Rooyen is coming back after back spasms in the practice match. The back line is stacked. Harry Sharp will be running on the wing. Caleb Windsor will be back as well too. I'm really looking forward to this. Can the Orange Tsunami swoop in at the MCG? Or will Melbourne be able to be a little bit fitter and a little bit stronger and hopefully a little bit more harder at the contest than Collingwood were last week? Just from what I saw last week, I think the GWS might win this one by no more than 2 goals. But I would not be surprised if Melbourne come out and cause a bit of a mini upset. I don't think it'd be an upset for Melbourne supporters, but for the league itself, just what happened with GWS the week before and how they dominated Collingwood to come out and lose to the Ds. But based on the percentages, based on the history of last week, I'm definitely having to go with the GWS to take out Melbourne in that particular win as well. Like I said, no more than 2 goals with that. And the last game of the weekend is also going to be an absolute rip snorter as well. Sunday, March 16th, 3:20 p.m. at the Optus Stadium. West Coast versus the Gold Coast Suns. It is the graveyard shift, but if over the last couple of years, the graveyard shift has been a corker for watching games as well too. There's been some really great contests coming all the way over from Perth, and I think this is going to be another one of them. I am actually tipping Gold Coast to win this one. Having Rioli come in, have Noble come in, just another year under Harwick will add a little bit more experience to them and just solidify their game plan, which is what they need. On the flip side, with West Coast, there is no reason why they couldn't win this one. They are a better team at Optus Stadium than they are away. They should put up a really good contest, but I just think with the quality across the ground, I'm definitely going with Gold Coast to win that one. I wouldn't say more than 3 goals, and that'll be a nice way to finish off round 1, the proper first round of the 2025 AFL season. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments. And make sure, if you haven't done so, do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. Join us for my tips every single week, whether it's on the podcast, whether it's on the videos, because it's Lace Out. Jamie and I will be back Monday night for our review and our recap of the first round of the AFL season. But I'm Peps from Lace Out. It's how you want your footy, and good luck to your teams for this week.